Good morning, students. So today I am going to show you how to use the select statement to filter the data. We can filter records in a table with the help of the where clause. The where clause takes one or more conditional expression and returns only those rows which match the conditions specified in the where clause. Now I am going to explain filtering using the where clause with the help of this table named student. Now read this question. It says, write a query to display the name and city of students who belong to the city Bangalore. That means we first have to display the name and city of the students. Name is represented by the column S name and city of the students is represented by the column S city. So in the select statement, I am going to select S name, S city from the table student. This is going to show us two columns, that is S name and S city in the output table. Now the question is, are we going to see all these records or only a specific record? Let's find it out from the question. If we see the second part of the question, it is asking us to display the city of students who belong to the city Bangalore. That means the criteria is set. We will be displaying the names and city of those students who belong to Bangalore. So for this to happen, I have to set the condition after the where clause like this. I have to set the condition as where S city equal to Bangalore. This is going to retrieve the elements for the columns S name and S city, but only for which the S city should be Bangalore, as set in this condition. And this gives only Arpita as the S name and Bangalore as the S city. The rest of the records has been omitted because they do not satisfy the criteria where S city is supposed to be Bangalore. Since only the first record where the student name is Arpita belongs to the city Bangalore, so it is this particular record that will be selected and will be displayed in this output table. In this slide, I am going to show you how to use the pattern matching operators along with the where clause. There are two types of pattern matching operators. Those are like and not like. The like operator is used to test whether it matches a particular pattern or not, and the not like operator is used to test whether it doesn't match a particular pattern or not. And based on these two operators, we can filter the records. Now, in addition to this like and not like pattern matching operators, we can also use some wildcard characters such as percentage and underscore, the use of which I am going to explain you in the next slide. Now, these wildcard characters can be used in association with these pattern matching operators like and not like. Just keep in mind that the like keyword searches the records matching the specified pattern, whereas the not like keyword does the reverse of that. That means it searches those records which do not match the specified pattern. Now consider this table identified by the name student. Based on this table name student, there is a question out here which is asking us to display the list of students starting their name with A. As they are asking us to display the list of students, so let me select two column names, the student name and the student city. The student name is represented by the column S name and the student city is represented by the column S city. So the query will be select S name, S city from the table student. But there is a criteria that has been set. The criteria is that the name of the student should start with the letter A. So for this, I have to make use of the pattern matching operator like in conjunction with the where clause. So I put it like this, where S name like, since the name has to start with the letter A, so I put the letter A and then the wildcard character percentage. So here A percentage means it has to start with the letter A followed by any type of letters. So when S name is like A percentage, we have the entry arpita which starts with the letter A and the remaining letters RPITA is denoted by percentage. As we are selecting only these two columns, S name and S city, so for the columns S name and S city we have the first entry Arpita and Bangalore getting displayed in the output table. Then again for S name, if it has to be like a percentage, we have the second entry as asterisk. It begins with the letter A, which is the first letter, and ASTIK are denoted by percentage. And this puts asterisk and Durgapur as the second entry in the output table. Now the next student name, if it has to be like a percentage, if we check it in this table, it's Anumita. Here A is the starting letter and NUMITA is denoted as percentage. So A is the first letter and the remaining letters NUMITA is denoted by percentage, and this gives Anumita and Bhopal as the third entry in the output table. Now look at this slide. If I wish to display the entries of all these columns, that is SID, SName and SCT in this table, instead of putting SID, SName, SCT, I shall put star, because star is going to represent all the columns in the table. It's going to represent SID, SName as well as SCT. So I will write the query as select star from student, which is going to show all these columns SID, SName and SCT into this output table exactly like this. And even for this question, the criteria set is this, that the name has to start with the letter A. So I'm going to put the where clause as where SName like a percentage, which is going to show the records of the student Arpita, Astik and Anumita. Okay, so this output table shows the records of only these three students, Arpita, Astik and Anumita, because these are the students which starts with the letter A. Now look at this particular question. It says write a query to display the list of students starting their name with A and having 6 letters only. Now as the question is asking me to display the list of students, let me select these three columns SID, SName and SCT. Since I am selecting all the columns, I shall write the select statement as select star from student, where star is going to represent all these columns SID, SName as well as SCT. Now see the next part of the question. It says the name has to start with the letter A, but the name has to contain 6 letters only. This means including the letter A, the name has to contain 6 letters. So from this we can easily get the idea that the first letter will be A and the remaining 5 letters can be anything. And including the remaining 5 letters along with the starting letter as A, in total it's going to comprise of 6 letters. And that's why I'm going to set the condition as where S name like, since it's starting with the letter A, I'm going to put A first and the remaining 5 letters as dash 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 dash, where dash can represent any type of letter. So if you count the first letter as A and then the remaining 5 letters, in total you are going to have exactly 6 letters, and that is the criteria that was set for us. Now in the output you are not going to see this table. Instead you are going to see this table, because I have used the star, where star is going to retrieve the elements of all these 3 columns, SID, SNAME as well as SCT. So in the output also I am going to see SID, SNAME as well as the column SCT. Now if the criteria that is to be set is like this, where the first letter should be A and the remaining 5 letters can be anything, then we can have Arpita as one of the student name, where A is the first letter and the remaining 5 letters can be represented as RPITA. Okay, so in total along with RPITA and A, this name will consist of 6 letters. So the entire record pertaining to the student name Arpita gets displayed as the first entry in the output table. Now if we look at the next student name Astik, this also comprises of the first letter as A and the remaining 5 letters as ASTIK, to give the total number of letters as 6 in Astik. As a result, the entire record pertaining to the student name Astik gets selected and it becomes the second entry in the output table. Then the next student name that is to start with the letter A is Anumita. If you look at Anumita, its first letter is A. Okay, this condition has been satisfied because the first letter is A. Now if you count the remaining number of letters, how many letters are there in NUMITA? There are 6 letters. But as per the criteria, you can have only 5 letters just after the first letter, which is A. So the student bearing the name Anumita and its entire record will be discarded, because if you look here, this student bearing the name Anumita comprises of 7 letters, but as per the question we need to have at the most 6 letters. The rest of the students, Tushar and Hansika, are also discarded. This is because Tushar is starting with the letter T and Hansika is starting with the letter H. So for these 2 entries, Tushar and Hansika, the criteria where it is to start with the letter A is not fulfilled. So the records of these 2 student names, Tushar and Hansika, are also discarded. So we have only these 2 entries in the output table. Next, look at this question. It says, write a query to display the list of students not starting their name with the letter A. Okay, this time, since they are asking us to list those students which are not starting with their name as letter A, so instead of using the like pattern matching operator, I have to use the not like pattern matching operator. Now if I have to list the students, let me list their column names SID, SNAME and SCT. Since I am selecting all these columns in the table student, So I shall write the SQL query as select star from the table student, and then I shall set the condition in the where clause. Okay, the condition should be such that the names of the students should not start with the letter A. So I'm going to put it as where S name not like A percentage. Now look at this pattern matching operator not like. Why I have used it? This is because the question is asking us to display those student names which does not start with the letter A. For that reason I write it as not like A percentage. That means the student names does not start with the letter A. Now in this table, which are the students that doesn't start with the letter A? There are only two students. The first one is Tushar and the second one is Hansika. So let's display the records of both these students. Now in the output, you're not going to see the records of these two students, that is Arpita and Astik. Instead, you're going to see the records of Tushar and Hansika. So this is the record of the student Tushar, and it becomes the first entry in the output table. Secondly, this is the record of the student Hansika, and this becomes the second entry in the output table. Now I hope this is clear. That's all about the pattern matching operators not like and the like operator. The like operator is going to retrieve those records in the output table which matches a specified pattern, and the not like operator is going to retrieve those records in the output table which does not match a specified pattern. You can even use these wildcard characters, that is dash and percentage, in conjunction with the pattern matching operators like and not like. The only difference between the dash operator and the percentage operator is that this dash operator represents a single character only. Okay, this dash represents only a single character, whereas this percentage represents a group of characters or a set of characters. And that's all about the pattern matching operators and the wildcard characters.